after the success of the Kennel Club show in San Francisco, Dave Davis and I had to search for a sizable venue that could hold 300 to 500 people. And in 1987, there weren't too many venues that can hold that many people. In fact, there weren't no venues. The legendary Lonnie Works had just closed back, I say, 5 months prior to the Kennel Club show. So there were not too many venues. There were some bars that were hosting local music, and there was one particular former pizza bar in San Jose that was hosting local music. And there wasn't much happening in mid 1987 towards the end of that year. Owners of the infamous Cactus Club, which was on First Street, were still in the planning stages of getting that going in 1988-89 time period. So as soon as the Kennel Club show was over for the No Censorship Defense Fund benefit show, that venue closed in San Jose. So we were pretty much out of any option whatsoever to hold another big show for Dirk Dirksen. So I had to approach Stan Kent, who was operating the One Step Beyond venue in Santa Clara, which is the South Bay. Santa Clara is a city that's right next to San Jose and Sunnyvale. And so the One Step Beyond venue, it was a pretty sizable venue. It's pretty big. It's about the size of the Fillmore. And so they were hosting a lot of big national acts that were coming through the Bay Area. So I had to convince Stan Kent, the owner of One Step Beyond, that we needed to do this show. We needed to raise money for Dirk Dirksen. We needed to send a message to the world that censorship is wrong. Censorship to the arts is basically something that shouldn't be happening in the United States. And Stan Kent was sold on it. He believed it. He's in the same business as we are. We're in publishing, Pow Magazine, and he's in the entertainment business. So, plus he does a lot of artistic events there as well. So he kind of got the idea of it, and he understood it and stood behind us on holding a benefit show for Jello Biafra. So the only thing that he required from us to make sure that we would have a tight show, because we were going to expand from 5 bands to 6 bands, and we needed to make sure everything was backline and the schedule was absolutely spot on, and we ended the show at 1 o'clock in the morning. And at that time, whoever was available for donating their music, we picked the best of the best bands that were available, and they all worked with each other in backlining their sets, and it was a fantastic evening. We captured it on video with 3 cameras, 1 roaming one and 2 on the sides of the stage, and it was an amazing experience. I think looking at it back, looking at those videos today, we captured a very unique time in the South Bay where music was so big. Independent alternative rock music was just a great thing happening for the South Bay. We had all kinds of music. We had rockabilly, we had surf music, we had post-punk, we had psychedelic music. A lot was going on in San Jose in 1987. So we captured that moment, I think, on camera. The best was that South Bay had to offer. So I'm very proud of what we did. We raised about $1,000, just the same amount that we did at the Kennel Club in San Francisco, which is about $2,500 in today's inflation rate standards. And so, we did our we met our objectives. We were successful, and after that, we never did any more shows. I think after another year, I canceled Pow Magazine. We closed it, and that was a great memory for me and Dave Davis.
I'm Dave Schumacher. Once upon a time I played bass in a band called the Social Club, and the good folks at Pow Magazine asked what is it we actually remember about the show we played at One Step Beyond some 30 years ago. It was a benefit for Jello Biafra's No More Censorship Defense Fund, and well, it was, for us, that was a cool show. And boy, Dennis, I'm glad you guys actually videotaped it so that now I actually can look back and remember it properly. You know, it's like our memory is pretty hazy from those days, and now that I see the videotape, it's like, hey, I actually remembered it correctly. We were all happy to do the benefit for Biafra's Defense Fund. You know, this was the Reagan years, and we were all members of the Church of Rock and Roll, and we were real tired of the way law enforcement basically took a crap on anything that was fun and tried to make fun illegal. But did we do the show to like make a statement to try to change anything? Not really. It was just a great chance to have fun. We got to play with not just one, but 5 other bands who were all our friends. We got to play it in this nice big club with nice stage and a pretty good sound system. And for the first time ever, we tried to do a light show. That was pretty cool. I remember the show ending up being a little more psychedelic than I thought our sound was, but it was really neat just to make the whole thing glow a little more, you know, kind of change the way we play.
Okay, we're going to do a sentimental slow song now because we got to hurry along with the set. There's so many good bands to cover. So this song is called When Things Were Plain. Thank you very much.
we're going to move on to the South Bay. After the success of the Kennel Club, we knew we needed a large concert in the South Bay, but there were no large venues to support alternative music. Muzzy's in San Jose was the only venue willing to help us until we received the bad news. The club shut down, which was probably a blessing in disguise. So my last resort was to negotiate with Stan, owner of the One Step Beyond club in Santa Clara, to host a No More Censorship to Defense Fund with 6 local bands from the South Bay. But after that long-winded Lonnie Works record release show at One Step 4 months earlier with the local bands, I really needed to convince the owner this could work. But despite the successful collaboration between the 5 bands at the Kennel Club, Stan really didn't think the same cooperation could work with the 6 bands from the South Bay to get done on time, which did not happen with the Lonnie Works record release show. But he was more than willing to help the No More Censorship to Defense Fund, and the date was set on October 28, 1987. After my meeting, I asked the bands we've interviewed from POW to help us out. Once the lineup was settled, I asked Phil Dirt from KFJC to help us out with DJing between the 20-minute sets, what he does best on his show, and he did great. And I also kept time. He also kept time on the sets because my watch broke that evening. So I was the one that was supposed to keep everything time and promising Stan that things would go well. So Sal 9000 and I dedicate the next interview on KUSC to Dirk Dirksen, who passed away just a few years ago.
Dirk Dirksen interview next up here on the Pow Magazine special on KFJC.
Okay, right now we're going to have some little request music in a bit, but we're going to have an interview. Joe's going to be doing an interview in a few seconds, I believe, whenever he comes down into the studio. He should be here in a few seconds, so I'll rap a little bit. You're going to be hearing something from Jesus and Mary Chain a little bit later. Also, I'm going to be getting into a little dirge set for you Halloween goers. But I believe we have someone on the phone with us right now. Almost.
Yeah, we do. We're gonna do an interview with Dirk in San Francisco, and we're here with Dennis Gonzales of
Take over,
Pow Magazine, and we're with, is it Mark from Social Club?
No, that's John.
Oh, it's John.
It's close.
I'm Jeff Ebbage.
Choke. None of that now. Dirk, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, we've got on the phone with us Dirk Dirksen, all the way from beautiful San Francisco, California, and he's going to talk to us about this No More Censorship show, which is going to occur tomorrow night at One Step Beyond here in Santa Clara, and it's 6 bands for $5, and it's going to be tons of fun, and it's featuring London Down, Grey Matter, the Edmen, the Frontier Wives, the Shockwaves, the Social Club, and lots more. And then who's the light show going to be provided by?
It's going to be Richard Joiste, the Seeing Eye Light slideshow. And we probably will have a liquid show added into that, too.
Great. So we're going to have the jelly lights and everything going. And Dirk, why should your average Santa Clara resident take their hard-earned $5 and go see this show?
Yeah, I want to know, too.
Because otherwise we'll come down there and smack them one, that's all. Bring some reality into this thing. No, why should they? Well, the thing is that they may not be particularly big Dead Kennedy fans, but they may also not be someone else's fan, and yet when it comes time for the group that they are fans of, they might get shut up, and then there is no one to sort of lend a helping hand. So what we're saying is help the people that basically went through this experience of being put on trial and having their life interrupted for about a year and a half. And Biafra and the other 4 defendants still owe close to between 10 and 15,000. The reason we are keeping an open end on it is because every time that somebody sends a donation, we normally send them information on censorship cases around the country because what happened to Biafra wasn't really an isolated incident. There are a number of cases going on of censorship, not just of rock music, but of people who are selling books that have been considered completely acceptable in the past. So there are these various let's say, situations where censorship has occurred, and we're trying to get people to realize what is happening. So for that, we do need their support, so that as others, which may include some of the groups that they're more into, when they get nailed, that there will be the capability to focus people's attention on it and hopefully have an outcome such as the one in Jello's case, where the jury sided with him 7-5, and the judge dismissed the charges.
But he dismissed the charges, but Jello still has to pay the court costs. Is that?
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is, you got to remember there were 5 defendants, and the defense fund, when it organized itself, was basically with the intent of making sure that all of the people that were involved in this situation would have their own legal counsel, so that there would be no conflict of interest in the case that one of them wanted to do a specific thing. And one of the tough problems that we had was to make sure that everybody stood united on saying, well, we're not going to cop a plea to something lesser, so that they would have a precedent that someone who alleged to have distributed something that the system didn't care for, that there would have been a conviction. The old man, Salvador, who was the owner of the plant that stuffed the record and the poster and shrink-wrapped it, he was charged with the same charge.
Wow. They didn't leave anybody out, did they?
And, I mean, not whether it really happened because of it, but definitely, I mean, the guy was having heart problems,
Jeez,
so it was touch and go, and he was cut loose early when they were still selecting a jury, because the judge found that there was insufficient evidence to prove that he had been involved. So they really went after a lot of people to cause as much havoc as possible, and so there are 5 legal bills. And
does one of those belong to Winston Smith? Was he the one responsible for the artwork? The actual collage?
Oh, the collage that got the charge coming?
Right.
No, that was Giger, H.R. Giger. He lives in Switzerland. He did the art direction or the creation of the film The Alien, for which he won the Oscar.
Wow.
So, and Giger, I mean, is a man of world repute in terms of his paintings.
Yeah, I'm really into
So it was strange that they would pick something of this nature versus cheap photos in a girly magazine, where there might be the exploitive motivation, because here, I mean, Biafra is pretty well solidly a political animal who tries to simulate people's thoughts on various issues of social concern. So it would be highly unlikely that a guy like that would go out and let's get a bunch of pictures of human genitalia and sell records. I don't think that was a
wrong motive.
And I mean, I've known the guy since his first performance at the MAB, and I mean, it just wasn't the kind of motivation that the state was alleging, and so the jury's good sense prevailed. But yet, I mean, not just the old man's health was affected. I mean, other people, when you're tied up with a thing hanging over your head, that there conceivably you could get found guilty and sent to prison. That's not the most pleasant thought. And
not at all.
Biafra felt very responsible in the sense of saying, well, these other people, they're here because of me, in a sense. But each of them gave the case their support by hanging in there until they were dismissed. So we're asking the help of fans and friends of music, not necessarily that they got to be in the Kennedys, into their music or even their political thought, but it's definitely a First Amendment kind of issue. If today they stop Biafra and the DKs, tomorrow it'll be a heavy metal group or whatever.
That's right. It says that certainly it does appear to be a problem that it just goes beyond Jello Biafra. It's not just Jello's problem. It's not just the dead Kennedy's problem. It's everybody's problem. And the First Amendment it spans music, it spans books, it spans art, even artists in as faraway places as Switzerland. So it's no longer just up to Jello to bail himself out. It's up to us to kind of pull together. And that's why for the mere price of $5, we're putting on an event that Dennis here has worked so very hard on to carry over. He did one in San Francisco a while back. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I did that one too.
And Dirk, thank you very much for your words of wisdom here. We appreciate it very much, and we wish you could be at the show tomorrow.
Words from wisdom, they were words from mine.
They were words from mine.
Hey, Dirk?
Okay, anyway.
Dennis has something to ask you. Go ahead.
Yeah, is Jello coming?
That I don't know. My belief is that you're going to have to put up with me this time.
Yeah, we did it with Suzanne up in the Kennel Club.
Well,
So.
Arrivederci.
That's pronounced Harry Verdurci.
Now, happy trails.
And we promise we didn't censor any of this. We didn't censor any of it.
Yes.
That maniac's not running around your place, is he?
No.
Nope.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was worth a try. Dirk, thank you very much.
Bye. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. And hope that your listeners will show up tomorrow.
Will do. We're expecting a great turnout and giving away free tickets even, so it's going to be a good time. Thanks a bunch, Dirk.
Okay, bye.
All right, we're going to get right back into music. We have the remainder of Social Club is going to be coming down, and we have a new song by them we're going to put on in a bit. Right now, in the meantime, to tide us over, this is Jesus and Mary Chain right here on the Underground Sound, KSCU.
Hey there, I'm Phil Benjamin. I used to be the guitar player for London Down back in the mid-'80s. And Dennis Gonzales from Pow Magazine and an old friend of ours from way back when we were playing reached out to me on the 30th anniversary of a show we did for the Jello Biafra No Censorship fundraiser that was done that night, and to bring awareness to the censorship that was going on and the causes that he was fighting for at the time. So Dennis had released some of the footage from that show recently that took place on October 27th, 1987, the 30th anniversary, and it was fun to watch. And so he asked me to kind of give a quick 5-minute, if at all possible, to do that all in 5 minutes, reflection of that time and the band and what we were doing and whatnot. And so, to say at that point in time, we were into it a couple of years into the band, and we were certainly, I think, reaching a newer level that we hadn't been at before. I think we were performing really well, and we had just written a whole bunch of new songs, and I was excited to see on the video a couple of those tracks, which I thought were long lost. We actually played at that show, and it was kind of fun to hear those. And I think those were some great songs that were, that we were excited about. So it was kind of a fun time for the band. I think at that point we were really gelling as a band and playing real well and writing some good songs and having a lot of fun. I think that it was another important time as well for the music scene in that period of time. The Laundry Works had recently closed, which was a real bummer for the South Bay music scene. It was such a camaraderie there and a great venue for bands to gain fans, for their fans to come and see them. And to experiment. It was very open place to play, and it was very diverse music scene that was developed out of there, and a lot of bands playing a lot of different styles and genres of music, and not a whole lot of bands sounding alike. So it was always interesting and fun to go out and see live music because you never really knew what was gonna be played, and it was very exciting. And so when the Laundry Works closed, it was tough to find some footing. Really, there were a couple places that tried to support it, but the music scene was larger than what I think a lot of people wanted to handle or knew what to do with. One Step Beyond came along, and they were a little reluctant. And I think the success of the show that Dennis and Pow Magazine put on that night not only raised awareness for something that was an important topic to be discussed at the time, but also I think showed a great venue like One Step Beyond that, hey, there is a vibrant music scene in the South Bay. These bands are real. These bands write real music. They play real music, and their fans are real. They will follow them. They will come out and see them. And I think that particular show and that particular time was really important on a lot of levels. And certainly playing in the band at that point in time was just a blast. All the great bands that were around at the time, certainly Gray Matter being with the Browns, Never Say Never. Some of these guys are still friends of mine today. The camaraderie, the support, the shows we did together, going to each other's shows, buying each other's records or cassettes or your CDs whenever those came out. It was a great, fun music scene that everybody was a part of and everybody wanted to be a part of. A little friendly competition here and there, but which never hurt anybody. But overall, it was just a wonderful time for music in the South Bay. And quite frankly, I don't think it's been that way since. But I won't go on that diatribe. But anyway, and Dennis, I just want to take a minute and thank you. I probably never got a chance to do that back in the day, but you were a huge supporter of Lemon Down and became a friend of ours, and we enjoyed everything you did for us back then, and certainly enjoy what you're doing today. With the videos that came out, great to see. Other bands like Gray Matter's set being played, and just a whole lot of fun. So keep up the good work, and hope this helps out. Thanks, everybody.
So Dennis was the man on all of this. Once we had a pretty successful show up in San Francisco, we decided to go ahead and feature San Jose and all the great bands that are down there that we have been putting into the magazine. So it was Dennis's idea to really concentrate on the bands down in the South Bay. So some of our favorites that were available came out and helped us out, and we raised more money for the Defense Fund. And it was actually a pretty good time. I don't remember much. I don't know if I was drinking a lot or just super busy or whatever, so I don't remember too much about the show. I remember being pretty fun. It was everybody was fantastic. So to my eyes, everything was incredibly organized, and that's all Dennis. I mean, it was his deal, his brainchild, his gig. So I couldn't be more proud to be a small part of both these shows for the Defense Fund.
Now, because without any further ado, the Frontier fucking wide. Place where the people dance with me. you, people. For God's sake, I'm gonna take this thing down. Thank you. I want to thank all the bands that played tonight. You did a fucking amazing job tonight. The N-Man, Shockwaves, Run It Down. Oh, what am I forgetting here? Frontier Wives, Gray Matter, and Social Club. Also want to thank, but I'll thank him anyway, Shockwaves again. Want to thank, we also want to thank the N-Man, again, One Step Beyond for putting up with us and helping us get the show together. Dennis, who did most of the bulk of the work. And finally, Jello for keeping the faith and keeping it going. He couldn't be here tonight. He's somewhere in New York giving some lecture or something like that. But thank everybody for being out here, and that's about all. Good night.